All right, we're back. Another episode of a podcast. I'm waiting for our co-host and Jenna Hall, who's our special. Oh.
Sorry, we're late, Mike. We had some hardware to grab. Yeah, we're ready now, though.
Must be nice. Well, as I said, we got our lovely co-host, Rylee Donaldson. Jenna Hall, goalkeeper of the year for the Patriot League. What other accolades do we have for you guys? First team All-League, both of you guys. What else? Am I missing anything? Tournament MVP.
We'll take that.
All academic team.
Academic team.
I did somehow get my way on there as well.
So she's brains too. So that's good. Jenna,
Brains, brawn, and Jen's beauty.
Yep.
How's it going, Jenna? How's your
It's
last
good.
couple days been?
Really fun. I mean, we've really been indulging in the win, as we should. I mean, huge to not only win, but then to go back to back. It's been really fun.
So talk me through, obviously you guys had, a great run in the playoffs this year, a great run all year, really. You guys have been playing really well. Talk me through the first game, right, of the playoffs, semifinals. What was the game plan going into that? How were you guys feeling going into that game?
Yeah, I feel like we were really confident going into Boston. I mean, we were just coming off a big win at their place, and we got a tie against them in the regular season last year. Then we got them in the Patriot League final last year, and then again in the regular season. So I think we felt really good going into Boston. I think we just had a lot of confidence in ourselves going into the tournament this year.
Yeah, I agree. Personally, I was more nervous for the semis than the finals for some reason. I don't know if it's because I knew that we would have so many more fans and, to impress the people, give them a show.
Gotta give them what they came to watch, of course.
But I don't know. I mean, everything that Rylee said is 100% true. I think the team was definitely more confident, going into that game. And I think that was honestly the best team we could have pulled. If another team had upset, Navy, we had a tough game against them earlier in the season. If we had to play Lehigh, we just tied Lehigh literally the game before that. I think it was a great game.
Yeah, what Jen said, I think weirdly enough, because Boston was the third seed, so you would think, oh, you don't really want to play Boston. But I actually think a lot of the team was hoping to draw Boston, so I think we knew we could go out and play a good game against them.
Yeah, I feel like you could probably, any team could really say that, right? You have different matchups that you'll probably have that are in your favor or whatnot. So back in the spring, I had the opportunity to practice with you guys. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Oh, I remember.
Obviously,
yeah.
I missed my PK against you, Mike. Don't you remember that?
I do remember that. And right about now, I'm going to clip in that video just so everyone sees it. So everyone
I'm going left.
No, you're not. Wait,
Mike, you're not even in the middle of the goal. Look at the goal. You're so far right. There you
I'm
go.
gonna bury it in that corner.
all right. I believe you.
Keep ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Here we go.
Whoa! Yeah, Mike! You got in your head! Let's go!
But I got to follow you, Jenna, around and just learn your craft, right? Which I've, over time have grown to respect it a lot more than I already did because I was god awful at it. So talk to me about, just your mindset as a goalkeeper. Talk to me about the nuances of it, just everything that goes into it.
Yeah, so it's definitely a hard position. You're all alone out there. I mean, you can't really relate to anyone. Everyone else on the team, they have to go around and you just stand there and yell at them. So, I mean...
That sounds very accurate.
You do a lot of. I've been to most of the games. You do a lot.
Yeah. So it's definitely a big responsibility, and I take a lot of stuff to heart. Almost if I mess up, it's a big mess up. It could result in a goal. It could result in a corner, which then results in a goal. I've trained really hard this past year, since the spring with you, just kind of getting everything down, having the technique right, not being afraid to come out on corner kicks, on breakaways, really just having my confidence, because that is what propels me to do better in goals when I'm 100% in tune with myself.
Yeah. So going back to that as well, right? So you go to PKs, right? Does the mindset shift a little bit? Do you know who they're going to probably have come up and hit those shots? Are you prepared for what they may do or what they're favored to do?
So in the Boston game, I don't think they took any PKs during the season, so we didn't really have any footage on that. But they definitely, the girls that they did put up are ones that I expected to, they're stronger players, ones who kind of just, have really hard shots.
Right.
So at that time, I was kind of like, okay, I got to guess. Like, it's a 50-50 shot. And, you know, I guess wrong sometimes, but that happens. But in the Army game, their first kicker had taken a few of their PKs in games before, so we had known, like, about her and, like, where she likes to go.
Right.
I still missed that one, but it's okay. That's kind of the process that we took to analyze them.
Yeah, and then on the other side, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the Army goalie studied us very well from the Boston semifinal, and actually the backup goalie was on the midfield line, and when we would walk up to go take it, the backup goalie would point what way we were going to go.
I didn't even notice that.
I didn't notice that the backup goalie was doing that until actually after the game when I watched the video. I did, however, notice that whenever one of us walked up to take the PK, she dove the exact way that we went in the semifinal. So I picked up on that, and then it kind of bit her in the butt a little bit when Teresa switched up her way, and she still dove the way Teresa went in the semifinal. So then I was like, I'm sitting there, and I'm usually very cool, calm, and collected, like, for the PKs. Like, I really wasn't nervous in the semi. I wasn't nervous for the final. And then I was like, do I need to change my way? Do I need to, like, I was like, wait, no, I can't do that. I just need to, I was like, she knows my way, but I'm gonna go left. I was like, I'm going to stutter step a bit, see if I can get her to bite, and then maybe I'd go the other way. She didn't bite, so I was like, all right, I'm going full force.
Did you know you just hit the winning PK?
I had literally no idea.
Because if you look back at the video on, like, you kind of turned around, and, like, it looked like you took a second, and then you kind of put your hands up, like, what just happened? Like, you didn't know what, like...
I had no idea. I don't know why I thought I had it in my head that Army had two. I didn't realize that they only had one. Maybe it was, like, the confidence that they were, like, airing out right next to me, like, made it seem like they were more ahead than they were. I thought they had two. So then when I went up and I was like, okay, if I score this, we're 3-2. But since we went first, they would go again. So I literally had no idea. And then all of a sudden first of all, I looked to make sure the ball went over the line because you got to get a hand on it. And then I saw it trickle over, and I was like, thank God. Turn around, and I actually see a stampede of bison running at me. I was like, oh, my God, I'm about to get tackled. Leanne Ingeman did almost tackle me. But I was like, all right, we actually did it. We just went back to back.
No, I mean, that was awesome. I was sitting there right before you hit it. I'm screaming, let's go, Rylee. And then, I don't know if you heard me in the semifinal, but after you made that winning PK in that game, I'm on the sideline just screaming, that's my co-host. That's my co-host. Just screaming it.
Yeah, and then after the semifinal, when we were coming into the final, you said to me, imagine the podcast if you guys win the final.
I did say that.
That's
and
what
now
you said
look
to
what
me.
we're doing right now.
And I did it for the podcast.
That's right.
That's why I do it all.
So, and even looking back so let's go back. Okay, let's talk about you guys pregame, right? So, when I go to your games, right, and I've been to a majority of your home games this year, I've always showed up a couple minutes before, like when you guys are already out, you guys are warming up, right? So for the semifinal, right, those are big moments that people like to see, locker room stuff and things of that sort. So I walk over with Coach Kelly, and I just hear you guys just screaming, and I'm like looking at them, and they're like acting like it's normal, and I'm like, what's going on in there? And they're like, this is just what they do. And I crack the door open. Lights are off. There's like strobe lights going on. Like you guys are dancing and screaming. And Kelly was like, yeah, that's just what they do. So like, first, when did that start? And how long has that just been a tradition for you guys?
Oh, I mean, that's been how it's been since my freshman year. I think it's grown a little bit more extensive over the years, probably. I mean, we've got some big personalities on the team, and like you don't necessarily see everyone on the field during the game, but you will see everyone up and at them in the pregame. Like, there are people hyping you up. Everybody's singing. Everybody's dancing. The energy is just absolutely electric, and, like, the lights are crazy. I mean, we've got a lot of, like, traditions that we do that are, like, really special to the team. We got some of those videos on the GoPro. So there's some really important traditions that some have changed over time, but some have been since my freshman year. So it's a very nostalgic feeling. And yeah, I was trying to make sure that we'd have a couple more of those coming up, and that last week wouldn't be my last pregame dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is really nice to see in the locker room when there are some girls who come off as quieter, and then it's like this entirely new personality comes out as soon as this one song comes on.
Yeah, everybody has specific songs. Like Teresa, when Thriller comes on, like everybody knows Teresa's in the middle doing. Like she turns into Michael Jackson. It's absolutely terrifying.
So let me just say, Rylee, you just mentioned the GoPro. There will be a video that comes out of you guys. You have the GoPro for the entire weekend. And that was probably the funniest. Like, I was crying laughing watching Teresa dance to Thriller.
Yeah.
Because, like, she really got it. I just didn't expect that from her. So it was pretty cool to see how much she got
Every
into
pregame she hits Thriller. Like, these are the traditions I'm talking about. And like Jen said, like, you think there's some quieter girls on the team, but once you get in that pregame locker room, there are no quiet personalities. That's for sure.
So Jenna, what's your song that you get up to?
I don't know. Obviously, Lucy is a classic. Ryan and I go back and forth.
Yeah,
I'm part of that song.
We have a tradition with that song. The song says, she said she ain't Lucy. I said, not yet. And Jen and I would say, not yet. And I said before the final on Sunday, I said, maybe today will be Lucy, Jen. Maybe today. And I think we might have achieved that point. That song's on the GoPro, too. You'll see it.
Yeah. So tell me, Jenna, what I also hear in the warm-up, you guys are just barking like dogs.
Yeah.
What is that?
So that kind of started last year, I would say. I think it was PD and I would say other people in your class, like, kind of started the saying where it was like Big Dog Sunday. So whenever we had a game, it just became like whatever day it was like Big Dog Thursday.
Yeah.
So now that kind of carried over to this year, and then the barking just kind of evolved with that. Again, everyone's got their own bark. Kelly even encourages it. She's like, give me a little bark, give me a little jump. We're barking in the center circle.
At one point I heard Kelly bark. I'm not going to lie. I honestly think I heard Kelly bark at one point. Yeah, Teresa's bark is really terrifying. It's like a really high-pitched bark. Petey's got this like rabid dog thing. Katie Shiano.
She's got a good one.
Best barks on the team.
Yeah.
I mean, last year before we were going to walk out for the Boston game, and then they actually walked out right when we were about to, and they walked out before us, and so our entire team started like barking. I was scared of us. I was excited to be a part of it because I also was barking, but I was absolutely terrified of the environment that I was a part of in that moment.
Like, you know when you have an out-of-body experience? I saw some random person just watching us bark at Boston right before we played.
Yes, and they were very scared.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fear in their eyes. Like, it's a really terrifying pack of dogs, if you will.
It's a lot of stuff you guys do that just threw me after, just being around you guys for the last, week and a half. But I just thought that was just hilarious. A lot of you are just funny people, for sure. So tell me about Coach Kelly. Like, what do you, obviously, she's good at her job, obviously, from what she's done so far. So what do you enjoy about being a player under Coach?
I definitely enjoy the kind of freedom that she gives us to kind of play how we want to play. I mean, obviously, she has certain things that she prefers, and there are certain things that we are better at. But overall, I think she allows us a lot of freedom on the field to kind of be creative, do what we want. She doesn't really yell a whole ton. If something really goes wrong, then she'll say something. Yeah. But for the most part, like, she keeps her cool well. Same with our other two coaches, too. Kind of lets us figure it out on our own, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's cool. So talk about, because obviously I compare it to, obviously, basketball, what I played. Goalie seems to be like the point guard on the floor, kind of just dictating. You're on the backside yelling at people. The point guard kind of does the same thing, right? So talk to me about, things that you're yelling out to your players, in different situations. I know some of it's probably not appropriate, but just talk me through that. What's that like?
So when you said that, there are a few key moments from the Army game that really came to mind. Obviously, you have your classic, like, man on, someone's coming down the right side. Lame. That's boring. My favorite is when it's a corner kick and I scream at Hannah Stuck to just head it, and it just hits her in the face every single time.
That's funny. I must be a point guard too because I do the exact same thing. I literally, the ball goes over our end line and I find Hannah and I say, Han, this is you. And I do that on our corners too. When Hannah's in and we get a corner, I literally like lock it with Hannah. I'm like, Han, this is you. This is your moment. I'm like, Hannah's one of the best headers on our team. So I guess we're on the same page with that.
Yeah. And then another time was when I rolled the ball out to Rye, and we're looking at each other in the eyes, and we're both like, the ball's right there.
Here's what happened. I made eye contact with Jet, and I was like, I was like, yeah, let's go. Like, let's like go quickly. And then I turned around and I saw I think I saw like 4 Army players flocking to me because at this point was in the overtime, so we had done it a couple times, and I was like, oh, I think Jen sees this too. It didn't throw it, or at least I literally don't know where the ball went. Like, I still don't know. I need to like go rewatch that. And I remember I was like, oh my god, she's so mad. I was like, I gotta go. I literally ran. I think the ball went out of bounds. They must have kicked over the end line again. Yeah. I ran all the way from where I was at midfield back to Jenna, apologized, told her I was sorry. I was like, I'm so sorry. I thought you didn't throw it. I didn't even see it. And also the environment was so loud. Mm-hmm. So I could not hear a thing. Everybody was yelling my name. I was lost. I don't know where I was.
Yeah.
I didn't even feel like I was on the field at that point. Not great. It was warranted of a yell.
It was pretty funny because in the moment it wasn't funny. But as I was sitting at midfield and I'm watching Jenna roll the ball out and I see you just looking back at her, and I'm watching you look at her as the ball's going by. I'm like,
I don't even know. I looked like a chicken with my head cut off. I was like, okay, we need to stop doing the overtime thing. I can't handle it. Too old for that.
Yeah. So Jenna, obviously last year, sophomore, you guys won the Patriot League Championship. Your junior year, you won the Patriot League Championship. I know Coach Kelly is always big on living in the moment, right? But Kelly, don't kill me. I mean, the expectations coming in next year are pretty huge, right? Like, you gotta, we gotta go, back to back to back. Nice, Three-peat. All right. So I'm really looking forward to not only, you guys finishing out this season with the win over Ohio State and whoever else, but next year as well. It should be really exciting for you guys.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're getting some good freshmen in. We're returning a lot of really good players, obviously losing a good amount of key players, but
who knows? Maybe I'll come back. I got a 5th here, John.
So talk about that, right? Finishing out your career, like these last moments that every athlete goes through, right? It's, kind of you're playing each game, and, you don't know when your last game is going to be at this point. Just talk about kind of your thoughts, if you've thought about it at all, about your last moments here.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I think I was so focused on the tournament and the semifinal game against Boston that I didn't really register that was my last game on Emmett. I mean, there could be a crazy scenario where we would maybe play on Emmett again. We won't get into that, but looking back on it and just thinking about how that game went, and then all the fans that were there and the PKs and the storming the field, it was the perfect way to end my career on Emmett. And there's never a good time to, end certain things, especially in, the soccer career that I've had for over 15 years now. But you look at those moments and that was a really great moment for me. So I'm kind of trying to take away, the good even in the kind of sad time that this is. And the longer we keep winning, the longer we keep going. I think we all said, we were talking to the CBS announcers before the Army game, and they asked about, the chance of it, being the last game for the seniors, and do we do this for the seniors and whatnot. And it's I think we just have such a great team chemistry that we all play so hard for each other. And I had faith that wasn't going to be my last game. I knew that we were all going to put our best foot forward and do what we could to make sure we made it to the NCAA round. So, I never want to say goodbye, and I can't believe I'm a senior, but you can't really write it any better than back-to-back championships.
No, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Jen, how do you feel about Rylee's celebration after PKs?
Sorry,
by the way, let me just say, I love it.
Thanks,
Some people may hate it, but I love it. So, what do you think?
If anyone hates it, I haven't heard it yet. Maybe we'll hear it from Jenna.
No, I mean, I think it definitely, shows how confident you are going into the PKs. You want to score, and you're going to score and do everything in your power to score. And I mean, I think it's fine. I could never, but
yeah,
I see how you can.
I feel like I have to. It's just I'm such a big personality on the team. I always say I'm one of the most confident people I know, and I think that's why Kelly and Rylee and Julia were able to put me 5th. It was a bit of a surprise to me when they announced it in the semifinal. They announced 1 through 4, and I'd kind of been taking them in the middle at practice. So I was in my head, I was oh man, they don't have me in the lineup for the PKs. And then they were Rylee Donaldson 5th, and I was 5th. Like, as in, like, you're the last PK
Yeah.
taker. It could come down to you. But I think it's a testament to, like, the confidence that I have. And, you know, every PK round, you know, you don't get to be the winning PK without having winning PKs before you. And Jen coming up huge. Like, I just remember, even when we went down in Army and we missed our first two and they made theirs, I remember thinking to myself the same thing I thought in Boston. I was like, I have faith in Jen. I have faith in us. And, like, genuinely, that's how I felt. So, you know, my celebration, like, it's kind of just let's have some fun. But, like, I'm able to be that confident because I've got people that are stepping up big before me too. So
Todd, you just mentioned, you know, you guys missed the first two, right? I got two questions for you, but I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous. Okay, so talk about your mindset, because you were the second PK taker there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they get a save. Talk about your mindset to have to go back in goal, right, and come up with a huge save.
Yeah, so I was at a loss of thoughts, of words. I didn't even know what to do. I was actually stunned how bad my shot was.
she knew your way, Jen. It wasn't. If she went the other way, you'd have been.
Yeah, I think she psyched me out when I just saw her go, and then I was like, oh god. But after that, I was kind of like, okay, well, I don't want to lose, so I'm going to have to give it all I got. I don't know if I was playing mind games, if I was winking at them, if we had luck on our side. But, I mean...
There was something weird happening.
Yeah. For them to...
Miss two.
Like, they hit crossbar and then missed wide.
Right.
So,
Close.
after that, I think I gained my confidence back just because I was like, wait, we're still in this.
Yeah.
But coming right off after my miss, I was like, holy cow, like, I need a second. And they don't give you seconds,
They don't really
really
care what you need in the PK shootout.
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Yeah.
So they missed two, right? First, tell me, have you always taken PKs, or is that something that just recently came?
In high school, I took them
Okay.
just because, like, I have to be confident in order to be a goalie. I deal with a lot of pressure all the time, so, like, I'm used to that. I don't really get freaked out by it or, like, psych myself out. So when was it? Maybe 2 weeks before the quarters, we were practicing, and I was just like, oh, maybe I'll just take one, like, for fun. And, like, I joke around with Kelly all the time, like, put me in the game, and she always says no and laughs in my face.
Yeah.
But she was, like, actually down to put me in for a PK. And then the first time, thank God I made it, or that would have been real bad between our relationship. But
I don't think you missed in practice, did you? I think you
I don't
nailed
think so.
every single one in practice. So
yeah.
So was there a little gamesmanship in the semifinal when you drill one in the back of net and you kind of just, you don't even stop, you kind of just drill it and just keep walking to goal?
I saw that.
I feel like it was a little gamesmanship, just a little bit.
There was, to be honest, I did not know where to go. It was either keep walking, and then I was like, okay, my water bottle's right there, perfect, I'll just pick it up. Because the other goalie, like, was coming out at the same time. It was awkward. I wasn't going to, like, high-five her because, like, I just scored on her.
Right.
But so...
Yeah, but I saw you high-five the Army
You
goalie
did
after she
high-five
saved yours.
Yeah, because then I was like...
And I was in the line, and
I was a little upset, actually.
I was
Don't lie.
angry. I was like,
Don't hide.
I'm holding hands with Paige and I think it was Teresa or Megan, and I was like fuming. I was about to give you a bark or something. I was like, she did not, because at that moment we didn't have the two misses, and then
Right.
Teresa, like, at that moment it wasn't looking too good, and I was like, now's the time to be that sportsman. Jen, I was like, come on.
So they missed two, right, in a row. We'll kind of get back into it. Talk to me about, I feel like the next one, the huge save that you had, which I believe was their fourth PK taker. You took a huge hop right. I felt like before the girl even kicked the ball. So by the time she kicked it, you were kind of just standing there already. Were you, like, tell me about that. Like, were you just going that way no matter what, or it was something you saw that made you say, like, she's going right? Like,
yeah. Kind of the way she lined up for the ball, like, her eyes, she was kind of scanning the whole goal, but, like, I was looking right into her eyes and she would not look back at me. And I could tell, like, she was more scared than I was, and I was terrified. So the fact that she was more scared, like, kind of made me feel even more confident. So I was like, wait, I got this. And like I said earlier, it's a 50-50 shot. Like, goalies aren't supposed to save it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to my right. Not a lot of people go to the right besides right. But, like, a lot of people go for placement on the goalie's left side.
Right.
Just because it's less stressful. You have more chance of making it.
I didn't even know that. Maybe I should have looked into that. I've been taking them that way all these years, the wrong way.
But Yeah, so I was like, I'm going to go for it. And part of it is you got to guess and go. You can't second guess yourself because then you're stuck if they hit a well-driven shot.
Right.
So I went for it, and thank God she went that way too.
I will say I don't know if it was like telepathy or what you would call this, but like I actually knew to my core that Jenna was gonna save that one. No, I'm like serious. I literally was like, yeah, Jenna's gonna save it. I just knew because I was like, she has to, so she will. And then you did.
Yeah.
See, confidence.
I did have a feeling. I was up and down. Like, we missed the first two, so I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And then they missed the next two, and after that, I felt like, okay, we're winning this.
Yeah. At that point, it was like when we came even, I was like, okay, we're coming up with it. I was like, there's no way we let this one drop.
Yeah. You guys talked to about like just storming, like you guys just pretty much dogpile each other at the end of the game. Like, how were you guys all? I mean, obviously, you guys were all excited and feeling, but to go back to back, like, how was that?
I'll go. It was
hard. I mean, it's not easy to do, obviously.
Yeah. It was really incredible. Like, we definitely had some low moments during the season along with the highs, but that was definitely one of the highs. Kelly gave us a pregame talk and was basically like, don't stop to take a picture on your way up the mountain, like, make it to the top. And that was like the epitome of making it to the top. Like, we actually did it again. And like you said, it is a huge challenge. Like, we lost key players in the back line, but hey, we filled those spots and did a great job. Like, we let up less goals than we did last year, this year. And so I think it took a lot of work, a lot of long nights, a lot of hard days, but it was all worth it.
Yeah, I mean, that moment was just so surreal. Like, obviously I had a bit of delay in understanding that we just went back to back, but even when it set in, it still hasn't really set in. Like, it's just such a surreal moment. Like, everybody's hugging, everybody's hype, we're getting the trophy. it all happens so fast, and it's just like, you're like, wow, because, you know, the climb is so long, like Kelly was talking about. Like, it's like a 4 to 5 month journey. Like, the amount of days at practice, the film, going to lifts, going to recovery, all the stuff that, you know, people don't really take into account that really contributes to how long a season can be physically, but also mentally and emotionally. And it's like, once you get to that point and it actually goes the way that you've been wanting it to go since day one of preseason, like, that moment is just indescribable. Like, it's one of the best feelings in the world. And I said last year was the best day of my life, but I don't know. I don't know if this year topped it or what. It's like those were two of the best days that I've had. So
Tell you what, I was inspired. I mean, I just, being a college athlete, I know how long these seasons get. Like you just said, not only physically but emotionally, mentally. So I know how tough it is. I played in 3 conference championships, only was able to win one of them, so I know how hard it is not only to get there but also win it.
Yeah.
And I know how easy it is for you guys to say, well, we won it last year, we're back in the championship, we're satisfied. So I was really inspired by Kelly's speech and just saying, like, just don't be satisfied with just being here, let's go win. So it was really awesome to see that, come to fruition.